Mick Burns, of course, from We Make Apps, and also Carl Herger from the City of Sydney, who is the digital marketing specialist, to talk about an app that collates a lot of the things that I love to do, I've got to say, in Sydney, which is the Sydney Culture Walks as well. So maybe I might start with you, Carl. What did you need? Why an app, and what is it exactly?
This came out of the history unit, really, at the City of Sydney. Pardon me. And the city has got a cultural policy, and it's all about enriching what the city does culturally in Sydney. And one aspect was leveraging technology to help people interact with the city's day-to-day culture and history. And the history team, they've got some amazing content about historical walking tours that you could do throughout the city. They were all in paper format. So amazing content, but not super practical.
Yeah, let's go pick up a brochure or a pamphlet, and...
Yeah, there's about 15 of them.
Hold on to them, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty crazy, and big bit of paper and walking around with it. Really, this was an exercise in reduction. I think the whole project. It was. It actually started off being quite a bloated project in the sense that it was going to be an Explore Sydney kind of app, and it could have had anything from history through to culture, through to public toilets, through to parking, and it just got very clear that it was going to be nothing to no one. So we refined the focus and made it, something for someone. And it ended up being just about culture, so history and culture. And really an app made sense in this instance because it needed to be fast performance, it needed to be real time, and we needed to have a kind of a custom CMS that we could load the content in as well for our history team.
So you could keep it going, keep it updated, keep it fresh, etc. Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Okay, so what did you do? What was the brief you were given?
Well, this was a great chance to make use of the location services and the maps that smartphone apps provide. It's a whole, world of technical possibilities. One of the key requirements from the City of Sydney was that it had to be a beautiful content piece as well. It couldn't just be, maps and directions. It had to be something that you could also use and look at when you weren't on the walks. It had to look really beautiful. So creating a really unique user experience was definitely part of the challenge in this one.
How did it extend from what the pamphlet experience was? Like, what could you do beyond the traditional walk, I suppose?
Well, I guess one of the main things is it's location aware, so it knows where you are. We've recently upgraded it. We've got iBeacons installed in around some of the sculptures in the city, and that they'll let you know when you're near the artwork and then immediately show you the walking directions to get there. And then again, when you get to the artwork, it will open up the page. We've got multimedia in there. We've got audio and video support. So
social integration now.
Yeah, there's images from the public
and something like this is interesting because you end up having data, so you can take that data and see who is actually obviously using the walk, but also who's frequenting certain sculptures. Maybe does it have implications beyond simply the cultural? So, for example, for maintenance or lighting, I don't know. What times are people going?
It hasn't at this point. That's an interesting point, though. We've just been using the data we're collecting, and none of it's personally identifiable. It's very much at the device level. But we're using it mainly to inform continuous improvement in the app. So we generally find that like a lot of the new public artworks will get more engagement than, say, a lot of the history pieces. But it's because they're tangible, you can see them. Or sometimes the historical things, there might be scaffolding there because it's not there anymore. But we use that to try and surface different content at different times, as well as looking at event tracking. Are people using the filters in the app? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So again, removing it if it's not being used, that kind of thing.
Okay. How do you let people know about it, particularly for the Sydney Cultural Walks?
Yeah, Culture Walks is a much harder marketing proposition than, say, food trucks, because food trucks had a lot of public interest in the lead up to the pilot. So they're getting featured in Good Food and all kinds of third-party media. That was a bit of an easier kind of sell. Culture Walks has been much more of a slow burn for us, and we found probably in the last 6 months we're getting a bit more traction. But it's mainly just around leveraging the city's existing assets. So it might be we've got a really great, strong social media following. We've got other cultural, like social media accounts we can use to help promote it, and targeted marketing like Facebook, for instance. We can actually, via the app, because it's got an SDK installed, we can say only promote to people that don't have the app, or when there's a new update, advertise to people that do have the app. So to try and, it's not always about acquisition, it's about retention as well, trying to get people back in. So we're trying to use as much in our marketing toolkit as possible with that one.